everybody. How are you? My name is Sarah Turino of Whole Woman Wellness, and I am delighted to bring you today the words and wisdom of Reverend Dr. Shawn Moore of Living Contribution. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so the first time I met you was boot camp.
Yes.
you came to boot camp, and he
I
was
did.
amazing.
It was good.
And you have been, did you do your Ironman?
I did. I did it last year, 2019.
What'd you learn?
Here's what I learned. I learned that it is important not to get psychologically wrapped up in being victorious by finishing and by not finishing, because literally I didn't complete it. I didn't finish it, which tore me up majorly. And it's funny because through all the weightlifting, all the training, I did three triathlons before I did the Ironman. And it's the very first time in my whole entire life, that I put a great deal of effort into something and came up short. And so that was something that, like, what's going on here? I worked really hard. I should have, but it wasn't in the cards. And so I remember going through this process. And I remember when I got out of the water, I went back to my room. And this is how unhealthy the whole entire process can become. I literally went online to see when the next Ironman was and was getting ready to sign up for the next one. And this is the day of me thinking, when's the next one so I can get in there and do it again. But again, that's ego talking, right? That's the ego talking. But yeah, I learned that it's okay to come up short, because I hadn't come up short majorly in a long time. So it was good ego check.
Tell, if you had to define yourself, what are you?
I think the number one thing that I am a warrior, right? And when I use the word warrior, I mean someone who's a warrior poet, someone who does warrior dance. A lot of people think that warriors are just folks that are geared towards violence. And a true warrior is geared towards anti-violence and will use violence to protect those around them. And so, different from being a soldier or a gladiator, being a warrior is much different than that. So I'd say, number one, I'm a warrior. Number two, I'm an educator, right? And so when I love to educate, I'm a teacher, professor, life coach, husband, right? And father. But that's how I name myself. I'd say I'm a warrior, I'm a teacher, I'm a husband, and I'm a father. And within those categories, I do multiple things.
Right. And minister and
yep.
PhD, doctorate.
Yep. So that feels good to get that done and out of the way.
Oh gosh, I can't even imagine. That's like Ironman for your brain.
That it was.
Okay, so let's talk, because the last thing I saw was that you went through the life coaching certification, which really sparked me, and I was so excited, because the idea of you making change, helping people make change on an individual level, because I know you work with organizations, and I know that so let's start by saying, tell me a little bit about Living Contribution.
So Living Contribution is it's how do I present this? It is a lifestyle. It is a mantra. It is part of my life journey is, how do I be a living contribution to someone else? And I don't know where I picked this up. Maybe it was 6-7 years ago, but someone said, you need to have a personal mission statement, right? You need to have a mission statement for yourself. You need to have core values for yourself. And so years ago, I thought to myself, what do I want to be about? And it really boils down to be great while being a living contribution. That's what it is. To be great while being a living contribution. And my core values are great. And each one is a letter. G stands for gratitude. R stands for reconciliation. E stands for excellence. A stands for adaptation. And T stands for teach, train, or technique. And so every morning I wake up and think, how am I going to be great? And I wanted to do this on an individual basis, right? So as a minister, you do a lot of things on a group level, but I wanted to be able to parse out what gets people stuck, what's your gift. And so I decided to go through this life coaching training program, and I completed it. And yeah, now I'm coaching folks.
Who do you want to talk to? Who do you want to reach?
People that are stuck, and I mean stuck in a particular place, as in, why can't I get out of this one particular spot? Like, why is everything so hard for me? Folks that are being stuck, and then also folks who want to seek out what their gift is. I said, because I believe that everybody on the planet has a particular gift. And once you know your gift, you understand your purpose. And through your purpose, you can bring about greatness to the whole entire world. I think that if we had more people on an individual basis that knew their purpose because of their gifting, we'd have less problems in the world.
Is there a spiritual component to what you do with people?
Yes. So I believe that we're spiritual beings. And when I say spiritual, I don't mean Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Buddha, Sikh, whatever it is. Those are religions. And religions are dogma, right or wrong, the rules that kind of dictate how one can navigate one's spiritual life. But you don't have to be religious to be spiritual. And so for me, it's tapping into what are the things that you actually enjoy and the things that you love, and taking a look at what you're really good at. Because I think the majority of the time, we're just told, get a good education, go to college, get a job, right? And so we literally are more concerned about employment, right, than deployment, right? Because if you're going to be employed, well, then you're going to be bound to multiple rules that may fit or not fit you. But you say, I'm going to deploy myself into the field of medicine or education or what. When you deploy yourself, you're being called. And I think most part that we don't know what our calling is because we don't know what our gift is.
So do you feel as if it's almost like an iceberg where people are tapping into only the top tip of their potential because they don't know about the rest of the iceberg below the water?
Yes, I think that we limit ourselves. We limit ourselves because we are more bound to economic success than we are personal success, because we believe if I have the money, then I'll be happy. And we all know someone who's got oodles and oodles of money and they're not happy. Then you'll find people who literally are happy with what they're doing, and then they're able to survive and whatever. Again, I think your gift will open doors for you. Your gift will feed you. Whatever your gift is, if you're able to do that gift and do it well, you can open up doors and that will provide for you.
So how do you weave in the spiritual component to helping people discover their iceberg?
Well, I think number one is, do you love yourself? Right. So I think an important spiritual discipline is, do you love yourself? You got to be able to love yourself, right? You have to wake up every morning and pour into who you are. So there's love, right? There's endurance, there's peace, there's joy. So each one of these components, once you start figuring out what do you actually love to do, where do you find peace, where do you find joy, those things might line up to what you're currently doing. But again, I think we're afraid of, I'm a CPA and you told me to do this, and it sounds like I want to do basket weaving. I don't want to do that because that doesn't pay any money. It's like, well, if that's your gift, then your gift will literally open doors for you, right? Again, I truly believe that whatever you're gifted at, it'll open doors for you.
Do you feel that the structures that have been created, particularly in a capitalistic society, binds people toward feeling that success can only be achieved through financial gain?
Yes.
Versus, I have enough and I'm deeply satisfied.
Yes, I think that. So for me, the core marker there is having gratitude, right? And so again, for part of greatness, my G is gratitude. I have to wake up every morning and be like, man, I am so grateful that I woke up this morning. Number one, because there are people all over the world who went to bed who did not wake up. So I've got maybe another 5 minutes on the earth. I maybe another 50 years on the earth. I have more time to seek out what it means to do great things. But I think gratitude is a major part, and that we don't know how to be gratitude. We don't have to show, we don't know how to engage in gratitude as it relates to our well-being, because why not have a jumbo-sized flat screen? And then I have to work towards that jumbo screen, and then I have to, again, you're always working towards the things that your heart most desires. And if your heart mostly desires external things, then you're going to find yourself in a capitalistic society where those things are, you get rewarded for playing the game.
One of the things that comes up in like the social justice circle is it, have you manifested it, or is it privilege?
So one of my heroes is David Goggins, right? So David Goggins is an African-American Navy SEAL. He's an ultra marathoner. He holds the most pull-ups by Guinness World Record. And so he, when people meet him, they're like, well, you're superhuman. Like, you're not normal. You're an average guy. You're not an average person. And he has a great deal of disdain for people making him superhuman. He argues that he's just a human that somehow is clicked, that because of my life, like, he grew up being beat and not a very good childhood. But for him, everything is about what you have to earn. And so for him, the concept is, I'm manifesting my greatness, right? I'm always going to be manifesting it. But you cannot talk about manifestation without privilege, right? And so as an African American living in America, I am at a disadvantage on multiple levels, but I am a man, right? And I'm also a well-educated man, which then gives me privileges to do certain things, right?
Hold on a sec. There we go.
Gotcha. So we have to both embrace our privileges that we have, and then be mindful that this is a privilege that I have. And so I'm very mindful of that. And sometimes I don't recognize what is a privilege compared to what is the manifestation of something, because I'm not aware of it. So my wife will gladly let me know that, this is a privilege, not a manifestation. But I don't think there's a human on the planet. If you're a human, you may not recognize your privilege because you may have very little of them compared to something else. But I do think that we have the ability to manifest something. But I agree that that this ideal of privilege is no joke. Because I think about, it's doctor, coach, reverend, and how difficult would it have been if I was an African-American woman going through the same process. And so, I got to be mindful of that.
Yeah, it's just interesting to look at. And you're like, wow, I got here because of all the privileges that I'm afforded, and I have to recognize that, right? Not take that for granted.
Right.
At least that's how I look at it.
Well, I agree. I also think that because with your privileges, because once you recognize what they are, you can literally kind of use those to help others. So Peggy McIntosh, who is she wrote the book The Invisible Knapsack, or the Backpack of Privileges.
Yeah.
Right. And so she argues that as an educator, if you hire her, she will most likely fire everyone who's white, hire people of color, and then leave. And she's like, as a white woman who recognizes this, I have these privileges, so people will hire me, and then I will literally come in and change staff, and then I'll leave to the next thing. For her, it's this idea of, I know I have these privileges, and then how can I actually use them to benefit things? Also with Tim Wise, right? So if you know who Tim Wise is, these are individuals who have a great deal of privilege, and they use their privilege to create a message for other folks. And so, again, I think that it's difficult to be a human and not say, I don't have privileges, because I think we all have them.
And we're not in this alone, right? We're not,
right.
It's not like, we're here for each other. We're here to lift each other up, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So can I ask a question? This is personal, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to. Will you ever be content?
No, I will never be content. Yeah, the answer is no. I will always find something that needs to be ticking on. I will always want to learn something new. I think that's part of my gifting, is not being content. I'm not content with how our country is. I'm not content with people not reaching their full potential. I don't think there's ever going to be a day where I'm like, it's now okay for someone else to do this thing. I'm going to be, now I'll always fight the good fight.
So let's talk joy.
Okay.
Is joy a choice?
I would argue that joy has to be a choice, that you have to choose joy, because if you don't choose joy, then you have to choose despair, right? And so I think joy is a choice. And so every morning I wake up and I'm like, okay, this is not a good morning for me. I need to seek joy. I need to have a happy spirit. I need to manifest greatness in my life. And I think a part of being joyful is also regulating your attachments, which is something I'm newly working on, attachments. And the more you're attached, the more non-negotiables you have, right? And the more non-negotiables you have, the more conflict you're going to have. And the more conflict you have, the harder it is to have joy.
Well, I mean, the Ironman is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
If you get attached to, I've done all this work and therefore I'm going to complete it in a certain time, or be completed period, or,
right.
And then it doesn't happen.
Right. And I think a major part of that is I had literally had put all the work and training it into the Ironman. And then I literally was thinking beyond the Ironman. I was thinking I got my medal, and because I was thinking, how will I use completing an Ironman to help me become a better life coach, a better pastor. Like, you can, reach down really hard and you can do it, and look what I did, and you can do the same thing, and da 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 da. And then I'm walking up the hill like, oh my gosh, I didn't complete this thing. I got stuck in the water, got cramps and couldn't fish. I'm like, geez Louise, what is this about? And again, I think that I would agree with you that my attachments had to do with the Ironman, but I had already put in my head what I was going to do with accomplishing an Ironman before I had completed it. And I think that's one of the major downfalls of being a warrior, where you've already said, I've already defeated my enemy and now I'm on to the next one. And I didn't take it serious. And I trained hard enough. I just didn't have enough that day. I just come up short.
Well, and the thing is don't you think there's something about not only non-attachment, but being in the present, and so it's a combination of planning. Yeah, you plan and train, but then there's also being present in the moment enough so that I'm confident that you get to the other end, and in there is the learning, right? It's the
Right.
journey of the training. It's the journey of the event.
Yep. Yeah. For sure. I think that it was a great experience, because I think when I first started training for it, I was training to be in the moment. And then afterwards, I got to a point where I was running 10, 15 miles a day, biking 5 miles, and swimming. I was really in really phenomenal shape of just getting whatever else. Then I started thinking, well, when I'm done with the Ironman, I'll maybe do a half Ironman, and I'll start doing other things and start talking on this thing. And the night before, I was thinking, okay, by time tomorrow I've done this, got in the water thinking, okay, I need to get to the bike. Again, at some point I kind of lost track of the beauty of engaging in it. And just, again, I can't give a good reason why I didn't complete it. I just know that I didn't. And it's probably one of the better things that ever taken place in my life that I didn't complete it. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I hear you. I mean, first of all, training for I only train for a half iron, and that's like a part-time job.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Who's got the time?
Right.
What is your hope? What do you want to leave people with after we talk today? Like if they watch this, what do you want them to walk away?
I think that no matter what your position is, that there's something inside of you that's great, and that you have a responsibility to me and to you and to everyone else to allow that greatness to be shown, to be seen. I think we come to this planet with a particular gift, and that gift is not for you. That gift is for others. And it would be nice to have a society where I don't have to worry about taking care of myself because someone will take care of me and I'll take care of someone else. And so I think so one of the things that I think is a positive note about religion, almost all religions, are about this idea of pouring into other people. Like, I'm going to pour into you while you pour into me. Now, of course, that's the perfect scenario, and we don't tend to see that happening. But if we had a society where everyone sought out what their gift was, like, what am I good at, and how am I going to use my gift to bring to make your life better, and everyone did that, we'd have some bang-in neighborhoods. Like, we'd have some bang-in society. We'd have a great deal of greatness. But because we don't, and you'll find individuals who do this on a major scale, people begin to think that, oh, that's Tony Robbins, he's special. That's David Goggins, he's special. That's Brene Brown, she's special. Instead of thinking, hang on for a second, I'm John Smith, whatever else, and I'm also special. We tend to elevate folks who are great in themselves, but they work towards their greatness. And so I think it's the idea of how do we help folks unlock their greatness.
I'm excited for you.
Me too.
How can people see you and get a hold of you and connect with you?
So they can reach me on Facebook, and it's Living Contribution. They can reach me by my email, which is livingcontribution@gmail.com.
Awesome. Final thoughts?
Final thought. Everyone is great. Everyone is great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.